Hi everybody, this is Black Rhino Ranger. Sorry it took me a while. I was busy with a lot of things today. Nevertheless, here's the next commentary on my last year's countdown towards my birthday, and let's finish the millennium of with 1999 when I was 5 years old, and prepare for the next one. That's all we really did. Really, we were just preparing for the new millennium of 2000. Unfortunately, my first grandfather died that year. And apparently every 8 years, afterwards a grandparent of mine would pass. Number 8 being a lucky number in China, my foot. But anyways, to cheer myself up, there are three things from 1999 which I would consider my favorite TV cartoon, animated movie, and video game. For the TV cartoon, it's none other than Ed, and Eddie. This show is very weird, and it has elements that that would probably make it hate the show. I mean, most of the characters at times are jerks and unlikable to one another. The animation is like super weird, super strange, and super weird at times. And in fact, the characters don't often look like human. They look really bizarre, especially with Sarah. Yeah, sometimes it revels on stupidity and random humor and stuff, and yet it all works. The reason why it works is because because of the timing, and also it's very loud and full of wacky sound effects, which may be annoying to some, but they know how to do it. They know how to. It's the timing, the execution of the voice actors, the interactions with the characters. That's what makes Ed, and Eddie to me such a timeless masterpiece, and why I consider it my most favorite Cartoon Network show of all time, and perhaps one of my most favorite cartoons from the 1990s, and perhaps my most favorite Canadian cartoon. My honorable mentions, two super close honorable mentions for that category are SpongeBob SquarePants and Courage the Cowardly Dog. But I chose Ed, and Eddie over them by mainly an inch. The other two candidates I was thinking of were Archie's Weird Mysteries, which was my introduction to the Archie comics, and Walking with Dinosaurs. I know what you're thinking, but it's like the background is live action. Yes, but the creatures are all animated with CGI and puppetry, so they count as animation. And it mostly focuses on the dinosaurs with almost no human or live action animals besides a few cameos of insects. So there is that. And what is my most favorite animated movie? It will be Tarzan. And it's basically a show about and it's probably one of, if not my most favorite. It's probably one of, if not my most favorite of the Disney Renaissance movies. The Jungle. Actually, no, The Lion King is still my most favorite, but Tarzan would probably be at number 2 or 3 or 4. I'm not sure, but the animation of the jungles, the settings, the fact that I love animal shows and wildlife and stuff in jungles. And it's very impressive how they were able to do this animation with the CGI backgrounds and how they blend in with the 2D animation. I wish Disney continued on this route. It's that amazing. And of course, I enjoy the characters like Tarzan, Tantor, Turk, Clayton, and Jane, and Kerchak, and almost everybody there. And of course, the Phil Collins song, such a memorable soundtrack. My honorable mentions are, of course, Toy Story 2, Fantasia 2000. Yes, that counts as a 1999 film. South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, and Wacko's Wish. What is my favorite video game of 1999? It's a very odd choice, but I'm thinking Worms Armageddon, and I believe it's one of my favorite one of the few reasons why I consider Worms as one of my favorite franchises. I'm addicted to Worms. I like many things about the Worms games. I kind of like the 3D ones a bit more, but the 2D ones are something I shall never forget about. And yes, a lot of deaths, a lot of explosions, some customization on the deaths and explosions of weapons, etc. Yeah. There were simpler times. There was some novelty to the older Worms games that I think the later ones kind of lacked, except for the 3D ones. I think the 3D ones have a bit of charm, and the early 2D ones have some charm. But the later 2D ones, I think there was something missing about them that I enjoyed. I'm not sure what it is. My honorable mentions are Disney Arcade Frenzy. It was an old game I used to play as a kid where you had these 4 different types of games. You have Mushu with trying to take down the Huns with the rocket. We have Iago where he guides Abu into lighting up the buildings. Watch out for the other the villain. Watch out for the bad guys like Jafar and Iago and the others and the other bad guys. There's one of Hercule. There's a Philoctetes has got Pegasus making sure the Titans don't reach Mount Olympus. And there's one more. There was one more. A Sebastian where he has to try and find Flounder, and he has to maneuver his way towards the jungle. I mean, the coral mazes and stuff. That's what I remember from that Disney Arcade Frenzy. There's Pokemon Gold and Silver, which I believe is the second generation of Pokemon, the one with Chikorita, Totodile, and Cyndaquil. Crash Team Racing, the first of the Crash Bandicoot spin-off games, and a worthy contender for the Mario Kart franchise. And Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage. The one I was able to get 100%. And I was able to finish 100% as a kid. It was a close candidate for my most favorite cartoon, my most favorite video game of 1999. But I honestly went with Worms Armageddon because I can still remember the "Pay attention, soldier," and the because it's funnier for me. Worms Armageddon was the funnier game for me. So anyways, what happened in my animation? I got a visit from Ed. It was reused from my Skylanders vs. Disney animation. And the person who sent me the letter is AJ Pokemon. What was her favorite Generation 2 Pokemon? And I said to him that I didn't know which is my most favorite, but I had a top 5, which is Totodile, Meryl, Donphan, Heracross, and Tyranitar. Now here's a funny thing about the second generation Pokemon. I was actually introduced to their Japanese names before I knew their English names. Like, I think I remember Totodile was originally named Waninoko or something like that. But that's all I remember, really. And I think Cyndaquil had a different name, but Chikorita maintained the same name. And I got a little something from Tantar, the character from Tarzan. I think I was going to slip in Tarzan on his back, but I found Tarzan a little difficult to draw. I mean, I remember seeing how in behind the scenes that every Tarzan drawing had different muscles. Like they drew every bit of muscle just to get an idea for his anatomy. Must have not have been easy, especially on the sliding thing. And I used a film reel as a film projector because why not? I just like doing some old films. Now to make sure I don't cause epileptic seizure, I had the flashing on quite low as if I have it too dim on some spots, then it may cause a bit of epileptic seizures. So I only dimmed it a little bit. And apparently a person's favorite shows that year were SpongeBob SquarePants, Ed, Edd n Eddy, Digimon, and Angela Anaconda, which had me scratching my head for a bit because I heard Angela Anaconda was not a very beloved show. Even back in its Kablam days, or in it even as a standalone show. And I heard, I think I've explained that Angela Anaconda had a bit of a Kablam issue where the rights of it on Nickelodeon, Doug, it's more like Doug, where it's originally owned by Nickelodeon, but later Disney owned the rights, hence why Kablam never got a DVD released. And over here we got the worm with the TNT present thing. This is a reference to the fact that if you've seen the Worms 3D, cutscenes, when you're trying to get when you complete a mission at the quickest possible time, you get three different versions of the same cutscene. For example, there's one version where the worm was like got these guns, and then he gets a little package. He's like, he opens it, and he's like, and he takes the lid. He just looks at the package. He just looks at it, and he just throws it. He presses the button, and then he shrugs. But then a bronze donkey or other type of trophy appears, and it flattens him or something. The second version of that, he does the thing, he throws it away, and then he presses it, and he presses it again, and then apparently the lid starts to shake a bit. And then it suddenly grew into a silver donkey, and then it slams on the worm. And then the other version, the last one, he looks at the package, and he puts it on the side, and then he presses it again, and then he presses the button again, and then he gets a golden donkey, and then suddenly it was raining extra golden donkeys on him. I think there was another one where the worm landed on a parachute, and then gets a visit from a giant box, and then he pushes it away. I think that was the golden and silver ones, but the golden one, the bronze and silver one, but the golden one, he just stops it from pushing him further rather than pushing it back. But then the crate fall on him, and then he gets a golden trophy or something like that. So the worm is on the trigger thing, and kaboom! What's the present? It's basically a character from Angela Anaconda meeting a Digimon character. I had nothing to say, so I just shrugged. That was about it. I don't know what to say about it. It's just an Angela Anaconda meeting a Digimon character. What am I supposed to feel about it? So anyways, that is my commentary on my 1999 year. And for the next part, we're heading for the 21st century. Hope you've enjoyed this video.